llamo Maya y hoy vamos a aprender sobre conjugating verbs. So, first, my endings are like this. My AR verbs are going to end with either o, as, a, amos, or an. Just a reminder that X is because it's vosotros, which is only used in Spain. We're skipping that part. No offense, Spain. ER and IR verbs will have these endings. O, es, e, hemos, or imos, and en. This will make more sense once we actually put it into context with some real examples. You should also add up here this little reminder to help you know what each of these spots on the table means. This spot is I, you, he, she, it, or usted. This spot is where you're going to go if you want to say we and they. You might want to take a minute and make your tables stand out a little bit more, because sometimes when we're putting a lot of information together on the page, it can all get lost and become a big jumbled mess of scribbles. Okay. You can also use your highlighters to help bring that point home as well. So another part that we need to look at is when we're conjugating verbs, we need to understand what all the pieces are. Let's look at the verb hablar. That's something Mrs. Mack likes to do too much. Hablar means to talk. We have different parts of that verb, and I'm going to use different colored highlighters to kind of show what I'm talking about there. This part right here, that's called your ending. So this verb would be an AR verb. Next, I have this part that's called my stem. It's a little hard to see with my highlighter, so I'm going to go over it with my pen. And the verb itself, hablar, is an infinitive verb. That means that I know what is being done, but I don't know who's doing it. So when I conjugate a verb, that's where I change it to say who's doing the action of the verb. So let's go ahead and start that out with hablar as my first example. I'm going to write it over here. Hablar means to talk. And I try to keep everything nice and neat and organized. First thing I'm going to do, circle the ending, write your stem. I'm going to circle my ending, and I'm going to write my stem. Now the stem here is habl. Habl, 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 habl. Later on, you'll get used to conjugating verbs and you won't need to do it this way, but for now, this is the best way to not make any mistakes. Now I'm going to add my endings. Circle the ending, write your stem, conjugate the verb, and then. So here's my stem, and I'm going to add o. So that means that since this is in this space, that's the I space. If I want to know how to not just say to talk, if I want to say I talk, I'm going to say hablo. Let's put that together with what we learned yesterday about the verb gustar. Me, then gusta, I don't know if you can hear Scout in the background, but he's getting all kinds of excited about something. First things first. Me gusta hablar. I like to talk. Hablo mucho. I talk a lot. Silly Scout. So there's just one example of the difference between a verb in infinitive form and a conjugated verb. So here's my infinitive and here's my conjugated. You can use your highlighters too if you want to help those stand out. Remember, before I did infinitive, so I could do that again here. I could even do that here. Just to kind of keep that pattern. Don't color just for the sake of coloring. That's what coloring books are for. In your notes, you want to use colors with a purpose. Okay, so I have hablo, means I talk. Hablas, you talk. Habla, hablamos, and hablan. I have memorized the endings because I've done it so many times. O, as, a, amos, an. O, as, a, amos, an. Hablo mucho, I talk a lot. Tú hablas. You talk. And technically I could just say hablas, and hablas means you talk. But if I'm just going to say it by itself, I'm going to add the tú in there just because it sounds like a more complete sentence. Ella no habla. By adding that no in there, I'm saying she doesn't. Nosotros hablamos. Nosotros meaning we. Hablamos talk. So for my they spot, I went ahead and I picked two people. Paul y Pedro. Paul y Pedro hablan. Now I could add to that like Paul y Pedro hablan en clase, in class, or cada sábado, every Saturday, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and skip down to my other two types of verbs, my ER verbs and my IR verbs. Let's pick an ER verb like comer. If I have a verb like comer, it means to eat. Same thing as before, circle the ending, write your stem. Keep your table nice and neat so you don't forget what you're doing. Write my stem. Com, 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 com. Then my endings. This is an ER verb, so I'm not going to look at my AR chart. I'm going to look over here. Como, comes, come, comemos, and comen. Comes. Comes means you eat. Come. He, she, or it eats. Comemos. We eat and comen. So I can do all my examples here. Como I eat. Comes. You eat. And I can add to this. I could say, me gusta galletas. I like cookies. Como galletas. I eat cookies. Sometimes when people first learn about conjugating verbs, they combine the two parts. And they'll say like, me gusta como. Well, that doesn't make sense because you're saying I like, I eat. So remember, whenever you're using the verb gustar, use it with an infinitive verb. So that's a verb that's going to have the ending and is not conjugated. Como, comes, come. Comemos. And comen. They eat. You'll notice in the last example, I gave you more complete sentences because I want you to see what you can do with this. But for now, let's focus on just conjugating the verb itself. Hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos, hablan. Como, comes, come, comemos, comen. Let's go ahead and do one more verb, and that's going to be a verb that ends with an IR ending. We have, for example, let's see, we have bailar, that's an AR verb. We have comer, that's an ER verb. We have dibujar, that's an AR verb. We have cantar, that's an AR verb. We also have escribir. Let's go ahead and do that one here. That is an IR verb because it has an IR ending. All infinitive verbs in Spanish are either going to end with AR, ER, or IR. Escribir means to write. I think of the word scribble, or if you have somebody taking notes for you, they would be your scribe. If you're at a really important meeting and you want to be able to pay attention to the meeting, but you need someone to write the notes about what happened, who said what, that person is your scribe or your secretary, but technically, officially, they're called your scribe. Escribe, okay, circle the ending, write your stem. If that's getting stuck in your head yet, good. Now I could just write out escribo, escribes, escribe, escribimos, escriben, but I'm more likely to make a mistake, and I don't want you to do that. Escribe. Now I'm gonna write my endings. Circle the ending, write your stem, conjugate your verb, my friend. Let's see, we have escribo, escribes, escribe. The only thing that is different between an ER verb and an IR verb is in this spot right here. If it's an ER verb, I'm going to use the emos ending, and if it's an IR verb, I'm going to use the imos ending. So here I had como, comes, come, comemos, comen. Here I have escribo, escribes, escribe, escribimos, and escriben. Please write over here what these things mean. Escribo, I write. Escribes, you write. Escribe, he, she, it, usted, whatever, Bob writes. Escribimos, we write. They write. Escriben.